As Democrats appear rudderless without clear leadership, one progressive influencer is throwing her hat into the ring with a pointed message to voters and the party.
Donald Trump and Elon Musk are dismantling our country piece by piece. And so many Democrats seem content to just sit back and let them. So I say it's time to drop the excuses and grow a spine. I'm Kat Abu-Ghazaleh, and I'm running for Congress in Illinois' 9th District. We're focused on meeting constituent needs with one simple rule. What if we didn't suck?
All right, that was progressive influencer Kat Abu-Ghazaleh, bold pitch announcing her run for Illinois' 9th Congressional District. Abu-Ghazaleh has made a name for herself the last several years working as a contributor for Media Matters and Zeteo, where she has covered right-wing media figures, including Tucker Carlson and Elon Musk. Her work exposing these figures has endeared herself to a big following on social media with more than 600,000 followers combined throughout TikTok, X, and Blue Sky. She is now running against incumbent Democratic Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, who's held the seat since 1990. That was the year Kat was born. Abu-Ghazaleh's message that the party needs to find a spine is actually resonating. Her campaign has raised more than $300,000 so far. Kat Abu-Ghazaleh joins me now. Kat, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for coming on. Let me just start with the decision for you to run. When was that decision made? What was the tipping point? I mean, you've been following this. You've been covering this for years. Why did you decide now is the moment that you can make a difference?
There wasn't like any specific moment that really triggered me into wanting to run. It's just been watching Democrats do nothing. We put this campaign together in under 50 days. My campaign manager and I went back through our texts, and we truly started February 3rd. So between January 20th and February 3rd, I just thought there's too much inaction, and I'm sick of waiting around for someone else to do something.
I understand you had your first campaign event in Evanston, Illinois. How did that go? What can you tell us about the reception that you've had so far?
Oh my God, it was incredible. We had over 130 people come. Instead of charging any, admission, we had people bring tampons and pads, boxes of tampons and pads to be donated to the Period Collective here in Chicago. I met so many people. There was a ton of excitement. We had kids drive up from out of state just to say that they want to run for office. Tons of young people, tons of older people. It was really inspiring, and I think that the consensus is clear. What the Democratic Party is doing hasn't worked, and we need to try something different. And a lot of people are just looking for something different, looking for someone to say, things are hard, and you're right to be angry.
And speaking of the Democratic Party and its leadership, talking about wanting to change the status at a time when Democrats are frustrated by the party's leadership, let me play for you what House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries had to say when he was asked about your campaign.
Are you concerned at all about incumbents getting ousted this cycle, and what specific steps are you taking?
I'm not familiar with who you're talking about.
Congresswoman Schakowsky is facing a challenge from Kat Abu-Ghazaleh.
She's a longstanding member, obviously a longstanding stalwart progressive member. I'm unfamiliar with this particular challenge.
What's your response to Hakeem Jeffries there and the fact that he labeled her as a longstanding progressive stalwart?
Yeah, I said this online, but it's time to get familiar. We are trying a new type of campaign here, and this is nothing against Schakowsky. Schakowsky has been historically one of the most progressive members of Congress. She's done a lot of really great work, but I think it's time to do something different. I think it's time that we need new energy, new leadership, and there's kind of been this stigma against having competitive primary races for one reason or another. I think that a competitive primary race forces every candidate to bring their A game. So I'm just trying to kind of live by the values that I want to see.
Oh, so tell me a little bit about those values. You say that it's not against Schakowsky, Congresswoman Schakowsky. You say you want to do things differently. What would be different? What would be some of the positions? What would be some of the policies that you would stake out that are different than your Democratic opponent?
Well, first off, I'm the only candidate that is declared in this race, so I have no opponent right now. But what we're doing differently just in the immediate is we are taking all of that money that's usually wasted on consultants and focus group testing and fancy events for the ultra rich, and we're investing it directly back into the community. So all of our events, we're trying to make them also double as mutual aid or direct action. We are planning, banned book drives, clothing exchanges, food bank support, arts and crafts events, trying to make things as community centered as possible with a huge ground game. And with over 1,000 volunteer signups, we're doing pretty well on how we think that will play out.
I know that you're no stranger to being targeted by the right. You say in your video that Elon Musk deposed you over your mean tweets as figures like Musk and Tucker Carlson for years. What will you bring from your experience into pushing back against them in Congress? What do you make of Musk holding tonight's town hall in Wisconsin and fueling cash into the Supreme Court race in that state, as well as the congressional races this week in Florida?
Part of the reason that we're in this mess is that a lot of Democratic representatives and a lot of Democratic leadership have been underestimating the right for a long time, whether it's misunderstanding technology or just thinking that could never happen. Their approach to the far right and to where we are now, this MAGA Republican agenda that Trump is pushing, has been all wrong. We're always reacting, and I think that it's time to, like I said, grow a spine. That means going on the offense. That means not normalizing some of the things that Trump has been doing. I mean, Schumer voting for that CR, I know so many people are mad about it. I heard it from pretty much everyone I talked to last night. But it also shows what their strategy is. Right now, it's to just kind of wait until things get worse and then hope that that's good enough for us to win in 2026. And I don't think we should be banking on more Americans getting hurt.
You are running as a Gen Z candidate. One of the issues that resonates with voters is what we're seeing in Gaza, Israel's assault on Gaza there. Your father is of Palestinian descent. You joined protesters outside the DNC last year requesting they have a Palestinian voice speaking at the convention. Tell us how you will run on that issue at a time when the party is facing primary challenges with groups like AIPAC funding them, because I believe the chair of the Republican Party even went after you for your support of Palestinians, writing, I wonder if she'll be passing out Hamas flags in the 4th of July parades.
Yeah, the Chicago GOP is just going really full mask off racism, so that's cool. The approach to this issue is like every other issue in my campaign. I have no interest in compromising my views or not listening to my moral compass. And my moral compass says, war crimes are bad no matter who commits them. Civilians should be protected no matter their nationality. And, right now we've already raised over $300,000 just from small dollar donors. No corporate cash, no calls to billionaires. I think a lot of people feel strongly about these issues and they just want someone that represents their values and isn't caving depending on who is investing or not. So frankly, between that and how we are approaching this ground game, trying to change people's lives directly, fill in these gaps of relief that Trump has been creating, I'm not so worried about it. I'm just excited to get back on the campaign trail and try more of this approach we're doing.
All right, Kat Abu-Ghazaleh, it's great to see you again. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and we'll certainly keep following that race as it heats up.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.